since then, put different policies in place, different support networks. So earlier this year we launched our Respect campaign. We actually launched it at the Highland Show. And we've worked closely with, we've worked with Farm Safety Foundation for a few years now, and also worked with other charities such as RSADI. It's been a good support for us. So we've now got a sort of training package that we can give our members, which includes mental health first aid, so that within young farmers we can recognise signs if someone is struggling and how we can support them and signpost them. From that we've kind of progressed the campaign a wee bit. So now every club in Scotland, all 70 clubs, will have a designated Respect ambassador within the club, and they're a point of contact for their members to go to. They're not there to be a therapist, but they're there to signpost members into where they can get support.
Because the bit I find hard to understand and get to is, because farming is generally quite isolated, is who's going to see and know whether anyone needs support or needs help. If you're not willing maybe to identify yourself, you haven't seen it, or maybe you're reluctant, who around you is going to pick up and say, we need to support you, because you are quite isolated in times when how you work and what happens. Unless there's family members around you who maybe see you. Some farmers don't have such big family networks. How do we reach those people who may be a bit more isolated and don't pick up on the signs, maybe that they need a bit of support?
Yeah, actually, the guys were talking just before you arrived about the importance of connectivity and staying connected using social media. Do you want to share a bit more about that? Lois, you were talking about that.
Yeah, so the using social media, you can just chat to people, you can see what other people are doing. So just if you've had a bad day, if they're sharing maybe what's happened with them, you're able to see that it's not just you. It's also a brilliant learning opportunity. So maybe you've got an issue that you're not sure how to solve, and you can look on social media and see, oh, well, they've tried this, maybe we could try that, and it just opens up more for you to be able to reach out to people as well. We've got a lot of agri-influencers, is that the right word?
We can start new words all the time. We'll go with agri-influence, that sounds good.
And a lot of them are very forthcoming about, oh, well, this is what I've been going through, and they're good at sharing points of contact for you to go to, and it's easier if you're on your phone but you're automatically there anyway. It's not like you have to go and search them up, it's all there for you.
But the older generations maybe don't
spend
much
not
time on social media.
No, although they are getting a lot better. My dad just hates technology, but he started getting into podcasts. So it's just something new for everyone, really.
And podcast is one of the things that we talked about actually that keeps you and helps that when you were feeling lonely, because you're maybe in the cab, the tractor for a long time, and how actually that would, you've got another voice almost with you when you're there, and it's quite an intimate way for people to get that information. You said you listened a lot.
I think I just got sick of listening to the same 4 or 5 songs on the radio every day. So I started listening to podcasts, and quite a few farming ones, but also I quite like listening to a few different sport ones. It's kind of a chance to switch off and stop thinking about farming for a wee while.
And what were you picking up from the podcast? What was helping you from a farming point of view when you were listening to?
Oh, just different things. There's various different farming podcasts now, and it can be someone that's been successful in business, or quite often they've got a wee tip on how to deal with a situation, or just, there's always something that you pick up that's useful.
Because I'm conscious there's a lot of change for you, the farmers now, and you're being asked to do an awful lot, and there's a lot of change coming. So how does that feel? Is that exciting for some of you? Is that a bit daunting?
Well, we were speaking earlier, we're all optimistic. We have to be optimistic in this industry. It is daunting, but I think if we rally together, which we are doing, across the generations, we're rallying together, and we'll get through it, we'll all get through it, and we'll be better for it on the other side. And if we want to change, we're going to do the change.
And do you feel the information and support is out there for you to be able to help you, understand what that pathway might look like?
It's out there. Accessing it may be slightly different. Who do you speak to about that? who's actually qualified to help you in this area, who's qualified to help you there, and that's maybe a bit more vague at the minute. It's everything that has come in the last 2 months has come very quickly, and we're all still trying to find our feet, I think, and it's maybe just good to speak. But then that's where things, even at our age, just associations like Young Farmers, you can speak to each other like, right, well, like, where do I go? Do you know where to go? Or where did your dad go when he had this issue? And things like that. And it is out there, just finding it, I think, is a bit difficult for them.
And it's one of the things that came out from this morning was actually how important an organisation, a rural organisation like Young Farmers is in making those connections from, what age were you, Robbie, when you started?
Young Farmers, it's 15, driving along.
Supportively.
Supportively.
And actually you're still a member of your original, and Alistair doesn't live at home now, so...
No, I'm originally from Caithness. My dad and uncle are farm managers at Castlemaine. So then they're third generation farm managers, so I split my time between home and here. Got the opportunity to move down here 4 years ago now. Didn't know anyone when I moved down, so that was quite a daunting experience. But it's very easy to get into a kind of rut that you're always working because you don't know people, and you don't get to know people because you're always working. So getting to join you Young Farmers was the way I found to break out of that cycle, and without it I would have probably been in a lonelier place than I am now, and now after 4 years here it's starting to feel like home, just because all the connections I've made through the Young Farmers being the backbone of that.
I think when it comes to isolation, we all will face isolation in the industry. It's being able to know your pals and know when they're just busy working and when they actually need a message to be like, are you okay? What are you doing today? What's going on? And like, I find sometimes you don't know you need that message, but being able to have that support network of friends, not even anyone trained professionally, just friends that can turn around and be like, I've not seen Rose for a while, you alright? Or why is Alistair not been at any of those meetings recently? You normally would like to come to that kind of meeting. And I think having sort of a network like Young Farmers, everybody knows what everybody else is going through, and everybody knows, like, it's busy this time of year. They weren't at last week's meeting, they haven't been to that committee meeting. I'll just give them a quick ring.
I think it's important to kind of make sure people are aware of whatever problem you're facing. There's always somebody else in the same boat, because it's easy to go through dark times and they kind of get things building up on you because you think it's only you that's facing this problem, but then you actually speak to somebody about it and you realise it's a common problem that everybody's having, and it's something you can kind of combat together then.
I think it's what you're saying, it's always the same, a problem is shared as a problem halved, and it's not until you actually share it, you're like, you seem to just feel the weight coming off your shoulders, and you're like, well, if somebody else is bearing it with me, it's not just me that's going through it.
And what sort of things are you guys worrying about? Because obviously I'm conscious of the young farmers part of this, whereas the older generations would probably say something different. What would you say now you're concerned about?
Well, we work quite closely with NFU Scotland, work quite closely with the Next Generation Committee, and we can sort of get a survey of our members to see what their concerns are within the industry. And the main things that we find our members are concerned about within agriculture, or how they can get a start within agriculture if they're not already working. Access to land and access to finance are the two biggest issues. And finance being long-term finance, it's quite easy to get short-term lets or short-term land rent, but actually having investment and access to land for a long period of time so you can plan going forward. And I think that's what we found from, certainly the Scottish budget. We only know what it's going to be for the next year. So how can we make business decisions and plan for the future when we don't know what
5-10 years in time, that's when you're going to start seeing things. So when you don't know what powers higher up are going to plan for the next 5-10 years, how can we plan to, do we keep growing wheat or do we diversify into something else? Like how can we plan that when there's nothing? That is the worry. Like we can all jump in a tractor or jump into a cattle shed and do the day-to-day tasks, but we don't know what to do for the future. We don't know where we're going.
So a bit of certainty, a bit of
certainty just to say like, okay, we are going to support you X amount for like X time of years, but like we don't know what's happening, so we can't. It's hard to plan, which is all farming is planning.
Like most companies are like producing something that they have an end product that year, where like livestock wise, if you're rearing cows, you're changing something now to see your product change in 3 years time and the end product, not just like that year. So when you're doing the changes, you're hoping that they're still going to want the same thing in 3 years time, but then you don't know that, you're just taking that gamble.
Yeah.
It's a new place to say it's doing great and then benefiting how it should be, but then it crashes again.
Is it? I was just yeah. I can get everyone to step on over to the right here.
Right over there?
Group photo, if that's all right. And we will tell you exactly what it is.
staring at the sunshine out here.
Kind of gather round. Someone on the right-hand side as well. Lovely.
That's it. I'll just jump next to you.
Can we just bring you in a little bit so it's not so wide? That's it. That's it.
Come here.
That's it. Just come across for me. That's it.
Your friend.
That's it. And then if you come down.
That's it.
Let's have a look. That's perfect. Here we go. Straight towards me. That's brilliant. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Great.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Right, Amelia, if we go to the far end now. James.
Quite an awful age. She might be further up.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, no, yeah, thanks.
Not at all, that's your strawberries,
Yeah, well,
wrong time of year. I know,
Yeah.
sorry.
Maybe you can come back in the
And did you just get one with the family?
Yeah. Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
My mother was
I'm not bossing about it.
yeah, right. Okay, it wasn't a great shot anyway.
This would be nice for the stuff.
The owners are going to walk them along, aren't they?
Yeah. Jim and Kate. I think, I don't think his parents.
But we basically, in a way, it's good that you're actually going to see a bit of yeah, we had a lot of
Okay, guys, look at you.
and they just eat it for I don't know what well, I would say we're
Showing me up the first.
Sorry.
yeah, they're only, this What's in that?
Are you alright?
Yep. Come this way.
I did check the other
So this is a variety. We only grow Magnum, which is our own variety, and it's